live right now. Take it away, Dan.
All righty. Well, good evening again, gang, and happy Sunday. Welcome to another episode or video of Dave and Dan. I'll just add, we are from Boston, as you can probably tell, the Boston boys, and it's really the way we see it.
Okay, Walter.
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is the way we see it.
Well, I just want to comment on one thing since we're going off on tangents right off the bat. Today, I felt really great today. I actually had a nap for about an hour. It's the first time I've taken a nap in a long time, and I'll tell you, because when I started writing this book 4 years ago, and then I set it aside, it was always gnawing at my brain that it was a task that I never completed, and I don't like not completing my tasks. And so when I made the decision in January to actually finish this thing, it just felt like a weight on my back, an anchor, around my neck, just every day, just grinding through getting this thing done. And I think maybe that's why I was able to take a nap today, is that I'm done with the book, and that weight was lifted off me. And so I wasn't, because I was literally grinding every day, Dan. Like,
I know that
6, 8, 10 hours more a day, just trying to
I know
get,
that.
And I'm really very, very grateful to be done.
Wow, amazing.
With the book.
How many pages? Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, I cut it down. That's really when the stress started building up on me, is when I realized that I had too many pages. And then I had to start deciding what I was going to do. So I kept writing, kept developing. And then I was over at the library here, and I said, you know what? I said, because it's such an ominous topic, I said, you know what I'll do is I'll end this first book on a happy ending. Happy ending. It's not really happy, but it's not devastating. And then I will move like several hundred pages of what I'd written into a new book that talks about the devastation in its own book, so that it's a follow-up if I ever write it. And so I decided right then and there that I was just going to just wrap up the book. And so I was able to trim it down from like 700 down to 4. It's 438 pages.
Wow.
And the next book is probably going to be roughly the same amount if I finish it. But so what I'll do is I will just show the
cover or something.
Yeah, I'll show the Amazon page. Let me know when you can see that.
Okay. Oh, I see it.
Yeah. So this is available on Amazon right now. I'll tell you, nothing is simple. Nothing about writing a book or getting this stuff, like creating a cover, like getting this stuff uploaded to Amazon took me like 6 hours. It was, and now the hardcover, I have, the format is, the paper book is ready. The hardcover was rejected by Amazon because it was out of alignment or something. So I had to spend 6 hours this morning working with the Amazon thing here, trying to get it resolved, but it's there. Now, if you look at the right side of the page, you see where I'm moving the mouse? Can you hear me? Did I lose you?
No, I'm listening. I see.
Do you see where I'm moving the mouse over the Kindle?
Yes.
So if you have Kindle, you can buy the book for nothing, I think. Yeah, the Kindle is $0.
Wow.
So the book's available for anybody interested. Not interested? Oh, well. But the first book I wrote, I think, is a very good book. But it's kind of like, I keep going back to running marathons. The first marathon, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're just running. You hope you finish. But after that experience, you're in so much pain the following few days. And then, it's like, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Is Dan and I are going to talk about ignorance and the dangers of ignorance. And really it comes down to, Dan and I were talking before we went live, really the only way to get rid of ignorance is to develop experience in an area. And then it doesn't mean that you can't be ignorant, but you're less likely to be ignorant when you have experience in something, in my opinion. So the book's available. I think I put in so much time and effort into this book. I'm biased, I understand, but when I was writing this book, there were some scenes I was writing that just had me laughing or had me, I mean, they're just some really good sections of this book that I think, I don't say this, I want to tread lightly because, I'm not Ernest Hemingway or Nelson DeMille or any of these great writers, but out there, so many I can't name, but there are some great sections of this book, I think. I really
want to, yeah, no, that's awesome. Do you want to try to give a 30-second or 1-minute synopsis of it, perhaps?
Well, I'll just read what is on the back cover of the book.
Okay.
Basically, and I'm going to actually try to utilize AI to create some videos on the book. I have no idea how to do that. So once I'm rested, I'm going to try to look into that. Okay. And I'm thinking, Dan, if I come back to the US, I'm thinking maybe I'll rent a van and drive across the US. And hey, tell me what you think about this. What I was thinking about is going to local Catholic churches around the country and making a deal with them where I would sell my book and I would give them the profits from selling the book to the church, the local church who hosts me. So it's a win-win.
Wow.
So a chance to meet, it gives me a chance to meet people, fellow Catholics at different places around the country. And it also promotes the book. I'm not making money, but I'm covering my costs and the church gets whatever profits. So I think it's really could be a real interesting experience.
Oh, absolutely. I can't see how it couldn't be.
So this is the blurb on the back cover of the book. It's called Trojan Dragons, Black Moon Baptism. One country is playing chess, the other is playing Go. While the West chases short-term profits, a patient adversary has spent over 40 years executing a masterclass in asymmetric warfare. Through the Trojan Dragons program, deep cover sleeper cells have been systematically maneuvered into the vital arteries of American governance, defense, and high finance. The United States has been hollowed out from within. At the center of the invisible invasion is Denny. He is a ghost operative carrying the unacknowledged bloodlines of China's most powerful historical leaders. His mission, organize and prepare a massive web of assets and be ready for the call to strike the heart of the United States. In Washington, elite intelligence analyst Whitaker Whit Reynolds is the only one who sees the looming catastrophe. Having spent 7 years deep inside Asia, Whit works to bring his team members of the China Watch Group up to speed. But can one man turn back the tide of 40 years? The gates have already been lowered. The enemy is inside, waiting for the signal to strike. Trojan Dragons, Black Moon Baptism is a chilling geopolitical thriller. It exposes a world where an empire is dismantled from the inside out. Ta-da!
What's interesting is, so what would you deem this, like fiction?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's fiction.
Absolutely. Yeah, but what's interesting is
it's like
fiction.
what Doug Casey said a long time ago. I took this to heart when I wrote both my books. I'll never forget it. He said, when you write a novel, fiction, you can talk about things that if you talked about it like as a nonfiction, people would crucify you. But as a fictional book, hey, it's my fantasy, guys. It's my what's it called? My imagination.
Yeah, well, exactly. And what I was going to say is fiction does tend to mirror real life a lot of times.
Well, I'll just say this, and I'm not going to go into it further. The reason I put this book down 4 years ago is because, to me, even though it's a fictional book, I don't think it's fiction in reality. I think that there's, and when I started writing this again, Dan, with everything going on in the world, I'll tell you, I started having anxiety because as I'm writing it, I was like literally in the library, I'd be like, because I think it really could happen.
And what probably opened your eyes even more, literally and figuratively, was while doing your research, right? I mean, you
Well,
came across some heavy stuff, right?
I sent you some of it. Man, the stuff that I was reading, and I put a lot of it into the book, just blew my mind away. And Dan, I'm a guy who is pretty exposed to this stuff already.
I
But
know that. That's why I said what I said. Yeah.
yeah, it drives home, man. It drives home that I implore you, Dan, and I implore my family and my friends and anybody listening, make sure that you maximize this time we have today and right now. Because if what I think is coming down the path that's coming down the path, we're going to wish we had what we had. Hug your kids, hug your wife, your spouse, friends, family. I mean, do not take them for granted. Tell them you love them. Show them that you love them. Not just tell them, show them. Do things for each other. I
Yeah.
mean, let's try to make our inner circle, our inner world as good as it can be. We have control. We have control over that. I had an epiphany from God. I know I sound insane when I say these things, but I was out for a walk. I had God talked to me and he said, because there was this one day where I was so tired from the book and I was feeling miserable. I was feeling angry, really mean. And he said to me, he goes, you have control over this. You have control over this. You choose how you're going to react to these things. And that was 2 weeks ago. And I said, okay. And those last 2 weeks, I've been, making an effort not to let this shit get to me. And one day at a time, un día a la vez, one day at a time. That's all we can do. That's the other thing is if we look too far ahead, we're going to get anxious. We're going to get overwhelmed.
Well, yeah. And Jesus says that, what is it in Matthew, essentially paraphrasing that,
Yeah. On the
don't
front
worry
cover of my
about
book.
tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of
No.
itself. Worry about today.
That's Matthew book 6,
Yep.
verses 25 through 27. Do not worry. If I take care of the birds of the air, I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
That's what actually, that verse, I've told you this before, that verse is what pushed me over the edge to actually make the leap and come to Mexico full time. Is again, I was having a conversation and God said to me, if you trust me, you'll do it. And I said, how do you argue with that, Dan?
Well, yeah. I mean, either it's three options: either you're insane, you're lying, or you're telling the truth. What other options are there? So it's at least a 1 in 3 chance that you're telling the truth, which is pretty high.
Well,
Right?
I am telling the truth,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
but for those people who don't believe in God, they'll
Yeah.
think I had indigestion.
assuming you're not insane, which I can vouch you're not, right?
Are you a
So,
doctor, Dan?
well, no, exactly. In my layman, I'm a layman psychologist in my own mind, but I'm a neophyte all the way. But assuming you're not insane and you're not lying, there's 2 out of 3 right there. That's pretty good in baseball. So,
Yeah, because you and I have been talking about these things for 15 years,
oh yeah, decade and a half
right?
probably.
And
Yeah,
so, and
it's
so,
not news to us.
no, so I think what happened is that culmination with that conversation with God 4 or 5 years ago. He's like, "Hey, Dave, should I get off the pot?" You know what I mean? Believe me or don't believe me. What are you gonna do? So, so Dan is really excellent. He's at organization and agendas. Me, I'm just a free thinker and fly by the seat of my pants. Well, sort of, kind of, but in these things I do. So Dan, you're very good at putting agendas. So Dan's running the show. So enough about me and my book. I hope everybody likes it. For subscribers, what I'll do is if you send me an email, I can send you a PDF back to read free of charge. If I send you a PDF, what I'm going to ask, though, is a quid pro quo, is that you leave a review on Amazon, since I'm sending you the book for free.
Yeah, send me the book too, because I want to.
I already
I
sent it.
need to.
I already sent it to you 2 days
Oh,
ago.
jeez. How did you send it?
Email.
Okay, fine. I'll grab it.
Email.
I need to
Yeah,
punch
it's too
through
big.
it.
It's too big. It's got to be sent by email. It won't go over WhatsApp
Okay, gotcha. Perfect.
for
Yeah,
whatever reason.
I need to dive into it. Just
Well,
the topic alone is fascinating. I
well,
can't imagine what
the
I'm going to
beautiful
learn.
thing today is, you know what I do sometimes, like when I don't feel like reading because my eyes are like, as I get older, it's harder to
I know.
read these screens.
It's
I
true.
actually have the computer read it to me.
Oh,
It's very easy. Like my Chromebook, and it has like 20 different voices now to choose from. So some of the voices, well, they all stink, but some of the voices are better than others. It's not just a
yeah,
robo voice now.
gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, the voices, to your point, the dub overs or whatever they're called, the cadence and the way they sound like a person.
yeah. Well, try it. But what I do is sometimes I'll just sit down and have a cup of coffee, and instead of me reading something, I'll just sit there and just listen to it, and I can take notes or whatever.
I'm going to take you up on that one for sure.
Yeah.
I got no
Yeah,
excuse now.
for my Chromebook, it's just simply hitting the there's a command key here, the command key and S. And for Windows-based machines, the other thing is about AI is getting better with these simple questions. Like, hey, how do I do this on my computer? AI is perfect for that. AI is terrible with other things. I can tell you that because I tried using AI on certain things. And we've talked about this before where AI is like useful for like the first question or the follow-up. But then when you ask another one, it goes right down. I think it's programmed to like do it on purpose so that you'll stop using them because they don't want AI to get overwhelmed.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I don't think AI is the savior that you think it is or that other people do. I really don't. I think AI could really be one of, I'm not saying it's not going to be useful, but you have companies now, Dan, already saying they think it might have been Apple or Microsoft, but some company racked up in 1 month, or it might have been Walmart. It might have been Walmart. I forget now. Some company racked up something outrageous like $500 million in 1 month in AI charges because they were encouraging their employees to use AI. And then they got the bill for it. And then now you hear these companies coming out saying, we've determined that our staffs are more efficient than AI.
Bring back Bob
You
and
can
Sally.
search online for this. I'm not making this up. Microsoft or Walmart or Google, one of them came out, not Google but one of them just came out and said, we've found it's cheaper and more efficient for us to have people than use AI. Boom.
Wow. I did
And
not hear that.
well, they're going to bury that story because that would kill this entire rally tomorrow.
Absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
real reason for AI, and I just want to put it out there, we've talked about it. I'm telling you, and I wrote about this in the book, is to create a digital prison. That's the only reason for AI and these data centers is they need, and this 6G now, and that's coming, 5G and 6G, they need this information they need the speed and the storage so that they can track every single little thing you're doing, Dan. That's what they want it for. Hi, Zodi.
Hey, Zodi, good to hear from you. Zodi just said he was having a long conversation with it, and somebody got on and said this wasn't a telephone call. Can you believe that?
You were on the phone with somebody?
No. What he's saying is he was having a long, drawn out conversation with AI itself. And finally, a human being interjected and said, "Hey, pal, this ain't a telephone call." You know,
What platform were you using? Brian, do you want to come on with us so you can chat? Here, let me put the link.
and
Because
he's purporting what you just basically said, that it doesn't want you to go too deep for a bunch of reasons.
No, because their real purpose isn't to help you, Dan.
Yeah. Grok.
I don't even know who's
Elon.
Grok.
That's Elon Musk's tool.
Oh, that's Twitter. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, Brian, if you want to come on and tell your story, you can click that link I just put into the chat.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not paying money to any of these fuckers.
Because he's not paying money.
Oh yeah. I had Twitter kick me out of something. I sent a chat to somebody and they locked me out because I didn't have a password. And I was like, I didn't create a password. So I had to download their freaking app onto my phone just to reset my password, and then I deleted it. And I have stopped using, I'll check like X like once every few days to just make sure the world hasn't blown up. But I stopped using these things. And I stopped watching a lot of those videos on YouTube now because the bottom line is, what's the point? What's the point? So
that blows my mind. His story, what he just said, some human got on and said, "Hey, buddy, this isn't a telephone call." What does that tell you?
I don't even understand. How does that? How would that work, Zodi? You got a text from somebody who claimed to be a human. How do you know it wasn't another AI? Because Grok, you can't talk to Grok, right? Grok is Twitter.
He said, "I was blown away. I got that really sick feeling like, holy shit, somebody is listening."
Everybody's listening. Because I just had to agree. One of my Chromebooks just started going haywire, so I had to power wash it, which means reset to factory settings. So I had to load everything back on, and I have the ad blocker. And when I went to, the ad blocker wasn't working, so I went to put in a different ad blocker, and I read their terms, and their terms were like, "We read everything on your screen," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" So you have your financial documents up there. They're reading everything on your screen.
That's a great point.
They're reading this right now.
Are
And
they
I'm like,
reading this?
yeah. And so I'm like, so is this going to increase the chances you get hacked?
That's a great point. You're looking at your ABC bank account number, 123, blah, 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 with
And they see you entering your password.
with 27 pesos in it. And
That's
right.
about it.
And they're logging every effing keystroke. So how is that? And it was said years ago that, with the advent of the internet and the way technology is now, guys, privacy's gone. It's dead. Privacy does not exist anymore. It's been dead for a long time. You could probably argue as far back as what probably started it was probably the Patriot Act. But now we're at the point where technology wise, it's clearly dead. I mean, this conversation we're having right now, we're being probably monitored and recorded
Well,
and
of
stored
course.
somewhere by the
Well, yeah.
NSA or whomever, right?
Well,
To
I'm recording
determine,
it.
are we enemies of the state? And we're just a couple of guys from Boston that grew up together. They went to school together. That's all. Having conversation. But hey, they want to monitor us, right?
Dan, I've told you this for I don't know how many years. It's eventually going to be that decision for us. We're either going to stand up and we're going to water the tree of liberty, or we're going to basically
Fold.
be good little boys and girls and do what we're told.
You and I have said this for years now that we're coming to the Y or the bend, if you will, in the road. Are you going to go left or are you going to go right? The left is, are you going to fold and let it go? The right is, are you going to get off the couch, so to speak, and make a stand? And you can interpret that stand. Well, what do you mean, Dan? Make a stand. What does that mean? Well, depending on the nature of the situation, interpret it as you will.
Yeah, I mean, people are getting killed, literally killed, to shut them up. I hope people know this. I dedicated one of my dedications of the book was to Gonzalo Lira, who told me to finish the book. He was killed. He was murdered. Seth Rich was murdered. Charlie Kirk was murdered. Julian Assange, I have no idea how he didn't get murdered. Thank God he didn't. But that guy, what a hero he is. Brave. And that's the thing. A lot of these guys, we talk about being brave, Dan. I'm not sure I have that kind of courage.
I don't claim to, because I mean, it's just the apostles are a great example. I think 11 out of 12 of them look at how they died. But to your point, take what's his face that wrote "Behold the Pale Horse," right?
Bill
With
Cooper.
In which most Americans are totally unaware of that book. And what
my nephew chastised me for talking about him, saying that he was this Nazi who killed federal agents in his driveway.
He was U.S. Naval Intelligence with the highest,
Clearance.
if not one of the highest, security clearances, and he was bringing to light what he learned over the years and stuff like that. And they obviously didn't want that.
No, they tried killing him in a traffic accident. They basically tried driving him off the road. That's how he lost his leg in a car accident.
There you go.
And then I've told this story many times before. He was warning people in the summer of 2001. It's on video, saying CNN just showed up in a cave in Afghanistan interviewing Osama bin Laden. And he said, if you people are stupid enough to believe that CNN can find this guy in a cave, but the CIA can't, then you're the stupidest people on earth.
And we are.
And he was saying something's coming, a false flag is coming, and they're going to blame it on Osama bin Laden. He goes, don't You believe it. He goes, they're setting him up as the patsy already. Well, 9/11 happened, and he had a radio show in New Mexico, and he would not shut up. So in October and November of 2001, federal tax agents showed up at his house, and they
Filled him full of lead.
they shot him. He fell on the drive. They basically, literally executed him in his own driveway on the ground.
Yeah.
And the federal agent who was killed, they blame on him. This is how well trained these federal agents were. When they started shooting at him, they didn't make sure that their guys weren't behind Bill Cooper. So when they shot at Bill Cooper and they missed, oops, they killed one of their own guys.
They hit one of their own guys.
One or two. They were shooting each other, basically. So that's how well trained our agents are.
Pretty scary.
But he's dead. And so
Yeah.
they control the
So
media.
much. Yeah.
They control
So
the
much
media.
for. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's insane. I mean, so much for, and I'm being facetious, flanking maneuvers with one guy laying down, let's say, suppression fire, right, to distract him so that somebody could take him out. Instead, what do? They circle him like a circle, and then, like the OK Corral, start shooting at him. But they're in the circle. You bozos, you're in a circle, so the bullets are flying at each other.
Well, the other reason to be very scared about this is, remember when they added like 50 or 60,000 tax agents?
Well, they were supposed to add 70 or 80,000. They never got added, from what I understood.
I heard that they did start adding them.
Okay.
And those people carry weapons, like those people who,
They carry firearms, sidearms.
and they actually, those people are actually very active because the U.S. wants its money.
Yeah. Yeah. When they send an IRS agent to your house packing heat, that's scary. That's scary.
And they send an army, man. They don't send one or two guys.
Do they
I
show
remember
up
when I
with
was living in New Hampshire, there was a guy who refused to pay his taxes, and he was public about it. Well,
Really?
you're not going to pay your taxes. Don't tell anybody, because
Right.
they literally sent an army for this guy, and he barricaded him in his house. Well, they were going to get him, of course. He's lucky
they
he
got
wasn't
him.
killed.
Did they kill him or just drag him out?
No, they dragged him out. And Peter Schiff's father, they sent Peter Schiff's father away for life over taxes. Peter
didn't know
Schiff's
that.
father died in prison.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And I follow him regularly. Didn't know that.
Yep. Look in his history. Peter Schiff, Peter Schiff has an axe to grind with the U.S. government.
Oh, big time. They killed his pops.
Well, his father wrote an excellent book exposing the corruption of the tax issues. And they once again, they shut him up, Dan.
Well, this all leads
We talked
into
about this before, Dan. If you and I went missing, nobody would give a shit.
no. The average. I'm not going to call you average. You're not average, but figuratively speaking,
I'm
for
very
the
average.
for the average bear like us/myself, who would notice and who would give a shit? To your point, maybe my mother would notice and care, but that's probably about it, right?
Well, I'm surprised, like people like
I mean,
Tucker
that's the truth.
Carlson, Jimmy Dore. Like, I'm surprised those people have, even Candace Owens possibly, the topics that they're talking about, whether, some people claim that they're psyops. Well, but they're still talking about these topics.
Well, so Tucker, as time goes on, in my view, he needs to be careful because as he continues to spout and spew,
He'll have a plane crash is what will happen to him, because they can't kill him like Seth Rich where they gun you down in the street. And they can't do a Charlie Kirk on him probably.
Yeah, but they'll if and when the time comes for that, when that decision comes down, they'll by then they will have figured out the best way to go about it.
Actually, probably, he lives in, I know where he lives in Maine. He lives up in a pretty remote area of Maine,
He
not too
does.
far from the New Hampshire border. And it wouldn't be
Oh,
hard to, it wouldn't be hard to create a car accident for him, or have a tree fall on his car,
yeah. I mean, I mean, yeah. I don't want to really broach this subject, but to
No, I'm
your
saying
point, a
that
million.
these people, that's one reason why Tucker says he doesn't drive a modern car, because he doesn't want the government taking control of his car.
Yeah, he probably drives a 20-year-old car, 25-year-old car that has that doesn't have the electrical system, which is basically a CPU, a computer on wheels,
Yeah.
that can be monitored and controlled and
Yeah.
hacked into
And
versus a mechanical car
and
that we
and
grew up with.
I think Congress, they were debating that. They were having I think they might have passed it, where they now require, if you're selling cars in the US, you give the US government control to control people's vehicles.
Ford just put that patent out in the last month or two, actually, and they caveated it with or added that this might be good for law enforcement and the government to have this capability as well, for the benefit of the citizens ultimately, so that if Dave is driving impaired after eating a too big Reuben sandwich and drank too much ginger ale with it, and now he's getting some stomach backlash, we're
No, that
gonna
happened to a woman.
cut the power off to the car.
There was a woman who was on the news, or on YouTube or internet, where she said she was driving. She was very upset, and the freaking camera in the car thought she was drunk, and it stopped her right in the middle of a highway. You don't think that's a little dangerous?
Slightly, with other cars coming at 70 and 80 miles per hour, and
Mack truck, Mack trucks behind you.
that's scary. I would be crapping my pants.
She was furious.
I would be scared first, then I'd be furious once
Oh,
I got to the side of the road.
yeah, I'd get rid of that car the next day.
100%. But that's where we're going, and that's another perfect example of us giving up our freedom. And there's another word, a better word, uh, that I wanted to utilize, but that's another example of us just willfully and mindlessly giving up our autonomy is what I'm looking for. That's the word, autonomy. I mean, we're just giving it away, like the old Red Hot Chili Peppers song in the early 90s. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. That's precisely what we're doing. We're giving it all away. If the founding fathers were here right now, if we could bring them back for just 15 minutes and they looked at America right now and saw what was going on and how we're giving it all away, I'd have to say they'd throw up on the spot. They'd be like, guys, what are you doing? We
Well,
built this constitutional republic and you're dismantling it brick by brick.
it's because we're cowards.
Yes, we are cowards. The American people are pussies. I'll go on record for that. And the powers that be know it.
Yep.
As a whole, we're fat, dumb, and weak. Sorry, I'm harsh.
We
We
think
are. We're pussies.
we're the greatest, man. We're the greatest, man.
No, we're pussies. No, we're pussies as a whole. And when I say that, I am not John Wayne. I don't purport to be the bravest guy at all. Far from it. But as a whole, yeah, I mean, I'm not impressed with us anymore at all. And the few of us that would want to stand up, I mean, it'd be an onslaught. It would be like a grain of sand taking on a tsunami.
Yep. Yep. We've talked about that many times, where you were like, oh yeah, we'll have pockets standing up. I'm like, ain't
No,
gonna
I still think that if
happen.
it came down to that, God forbid, there would be some pockets of resistance. That I do believe, but they would be so overwhelmed in no time.
That was my point.
So so overwhelmed in no time. It would be like Waco, Texas. You remember Waco, Texas? They had the little fort set up,
Exactly what it would be like.
and they had some firepower. I don't remember all the details, but I thought they had some firepower and some people that knew how to rock and roll a little bit, but they were taken out in no time. I mean, you're talking the U.S. government slash military, which is still the best in the world. I mean, once they fire up that engine on you and start sent rolling it your way, you're in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure those were tax agents who showed up on their door.
Oh, is that what they were? Okay.
I don't remember, or it was ATF.
I thought it was FBI, ATF,
Yeah.
DEA. I thought it was a bunch of agencies and they rolled in there and
Well,
overwhelming superiority. I don't remember. I
listen,
don't remember.
there's so many kooky groups like that in the U.S. that, but that's the United States. You're allowed to be a kook if you want to be, and if have you ever been to Waco, Texas, Dan?
No.
Dude.
Have you been to Waco?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been all over Texas, and
Okay.
it's like in the middle of nowhere. It's like I remember driving along, and I'm like, oh, Waco, and I mean it's just like flat ranch land everywhere. So they weren't hurting anybody, and they were clearly murdered for some reason. And the people who murdered the people in Waco, of course they were promoted.
Yeah, I mean,
The guy who
yeah.
was the FBI guy, he became one of the top FBI guys now.
Yeah, I mean, and I didn't mean to diatribe too much. It just popped into my head. As a whole, again, the overarching theme is we're giving it away now. And I just don't see the gumption and the wherewithal in the American people as a whole to stop it. I just don't. And our own Congress, you know,
Well, I just want to
with,
interject one thing. Is I've
yeah,
said this to you 100 times, and I wrote about this as well. Is when people see their governments this corrupt, they become corrupt themselves because why are you going to obey the laws? It's the antithesis of John F. Kennedy when John F. Kennedy said, ask not what you can do for you. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Remember that? Today,
absolutely.
it's the opposite. Today, people are like, what can I get for me?
It's 100% the opposite, bro. He's a New England brethren of ours, just for what that's worth. So
Not much.
we can we were we're from New England. We were raised Yankees with a certain level of practicality and stick to itiveness, work heartedness, whatever, however you want to put it, and but showing up that's how we were raised and ingrained, and he was the same way, right? But to Dave's point, it's the complete antithesis, the complete opposite today. It's what can the gov give me? Oh, I can sit on my ass like during COVID for 8 months and watch Netflix, and grow a 50-pound gut and not have to do anything. Sign me up, right? I mean,
Yeah, and the
that's
young
where we're at.
people, I wrote 2 chapters in the book on this topic. The young people have completely resigned, and
Yeah, yeah,
that's the future, folks. And when you're allowing boomers and I forget the name of the generation before the boomers, but when you let them, they have like 70% of the wealth in the country. When you
correct.
let them continue to control the country and not pass off power and opportunities to the next generations, you get atrophy. You get death.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. Your muscles get flabby quick. when you've got a bunch of 86-year-olds, and we're trying to be respectful, and 81-year-olds and 74-year-olds, running the show, making hard decisions. I mean, even Trump, he's pushing 80 now. Can you imagine the stress he's under, having the world, the weight of the world, if you will, on your shoulders? I mean, that
Well,
would be
his net
stressful
his
for a
net worth is
40-year-old man, never mind an 80-year-old man.
yeah. Well, his net worth is doing great. I think he's up 4 billion in 2 years.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's turned the U.S. into a friggin' flea market. Everything's for sale. And I've said it 2 or 3 videos before, and I've been saying it for a decade. The U.S. is nothing but a floating friggin' effing commerce flotilla in the middle of the ocean where, everything's for sale. As long as you strike the right price. The friggin' billboards up in the air. Everything's for sale to anybody at any time, as long as you pay me enough, right? And our financial system proves that. The dinks on Wall Street, the Black Rocks of the world and all that, which, oh, by the way, dovetails nicely into one of the topics that, or two of the topics that we wanted to talk about, which
All right,
have
take it away.
happened over the last week or two, which make me outright livid. But I wonder how many people are aware of it. One is, I think it's called Proposition 224 or Item 224, of where they're trying to have a passage, and nobody in Congress put up a fight at all except 2 guys. I can't think of their names. But out of 500 Congress people, everybody was like, oh, that's fine. Let's just intertwine the Israeli intelligence and militaries completely with ours, right? Total partnership where there is 100% transparency, where they have access to all our information, the Pentagon, everything, but we don't have access to theirs. It's not a reciprocal type deal. It's not bi-directional in nature. It's unidirectional. And Netanyahu was even dictating the terms of the thing. And the Congress, our Congress, was like, oh yeah, following it along and, writing it down. Okay, BB baby, we'll have this in there too for you, Beanie Baby. And, I mean, if that doesn't turn your stomach and make you pissed off, I don't know what does. And then on top of it, the other thing I heard this week, which made me want to take my fist and put it through the wall, is that private equity in this country is sucking serious wind right now. When you go into private equity for stuff, guys, I mean, it's long-term oriented. You can't pull your money out anytime soon. And the way things are going with interest rates and stuff like that, the private equity guys are underwater. Okay. Well, we're already broke as a nation. We're already pushing 40 trillion. And how much more can we keep printing and devaluing the dollar? So to save private equity, like we saved the banks back in 2008, here's the killer. They need a liquidity injection, right, Dave? Well, guess where the liquidity injection is that they're thinking of taking
Pension
the money
funds.
from.
Pension funds.
What?
Pension
You nailed
funds.
it. Bing, 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 ding, 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 ding. All the 401ks. There's trillions of dollars in pension funds, 401ks, IRAs, whatever. They want to raid that. So my comment to that is,
Well, you're not using it, Dan.
yeah, exactly. No, I'm not using it. I don't want to retire at all some fucking day. I want to work till I'm 89 fucking years old, popping 16 pills to support the pharma companies. I'm alive, but I'm wearing a diaper. My dick fell off 10 years ago. But hey, I'm alive. And, Pfizer's making revenue off my bladder. So, hey, it's a win-win. It's a win for somebody, maybe not me. Right. But hey, yeah, I don't need my retirement funds. No, I've worked 40 plus years. No, that doesn't piss me off in the least. Right. So my comment to those knuckleheads that are even considering it is, if you do that to the American people, okay, you truly have pulled it. It's the ultimate rug pull at that point. If they do that, people are going to go apeshit. At that point, you will have backed people. And no, Dave, I think some people will. I do. They'll go ape. They'll die. It won't make a difference. But Think about it, Dave. You pull someone's all their money away. They can't even pay the fucking rent or buy food. Now what?
Dan,
What do you got to
Dan,
lose at that point?
Dan,
You're
hello,
dead. You're
hello.
dead.
Do you drive around your community? Do you see tent cities? Do you see people
Mm.
living under bridges?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Well, it's already there, dude.
and it. Well, okay, that's just the tip
So
of
you
the
just
iceberg.
threw, so you just threw, so that just means you'll be out in a tent next to them. That's all.
Millions and millions of people all at once will be. Yes. Yes. So if they don't fix Social Security, that's going to be the special, I forget, fund, that if they don't fix this in the next 7 or 8 years, then what's going to happen is you're only looking at 80% of your Social Security. So let's say the retirement age right now is 67 at the moment. Let's say your full Social Security check is $3,000 when you retire, full age at 67. Well, you're only going to get 80% of that at this rate if they don't fix something. Whatever 80% of 3,000 is 2,400 instead of 3,000. That's going to hurt a lot of people. It's going to hurt a lot of people. And if they don't fix Social Security and they raid the pension funds, 401ks, and all that, just to prop up and ultimately save these private equity pricks, like they did for the banks. Like I said, it's an ultimate rug pull. There's nothing left at that point. The American people are beyond screwed, blued, and tattooed at that point. They're
Well,
beyond fucked. They're beyond fucked. At that point, you might as well pull out the fucking shotgun and the pitchfork and take on the fucking gunship.
Well, I saw a very good clip with Jimmy Dore on Tucker Williams or Tucker
Yep.
Carlson.
Yep.
And Jimmy Dore actually said, I don't know the verbatim, but what he said is, hey, the last time our government was this bad, we actually revolted against King George.
There you go.
So at least people are starting to talk about it. It's got to happen, folks. I'm sorry to say. It's got to, people like Trump, people like Fink, and all these others who are pulling these strings and making all this money, they're not going to willingly give this up.
No, they're not. And what pisses me off is Trump is the one that's actually supposedly pushing for this or helping to propagate this with the pension funds and the 401ks and stuff. How can he, in good conscience at all, even consider this idea?
Well, do you not remember within the last 6 months, it was this year, I'm pretty sure, he was asked and he said to the reporter, I won't be going to heaven.
Yeah,
I'm not a
I
good
remember
person.
that. Yeah.
Hello, Dan.
Great. So
why would you be surprised that he is an evil Emmer Fricker?
No, spot on. But what pisses me off is, so he knows where he's going and he doesn't mind taking a whole bunch of other folks with him, so to speak.
Well, because he doesn't believe. We've talked about this. He doesn't believe. He doesn't believe there's consequences.
Yeah, he thinks his wealth and
his daughter converted to Judaism,
and his USDT, whatever the frig it is, Trump coin, is the day of his reckoning. He thinks that's going to help him with the Almighty. Yeah,
I don't know how that would help you.
He's going to pay Christ off with his friggin' CBDC.
Good luck.
Good luck with that. Yeah. And I used to like her a lot. I thought she was a class act and beautiful woman and stuff like that. Of Ivanka Trump, but she's a meathead. She's a meathead. The comment she made the other day about Albania with the, oh yes, and it has 1,400 hectares on the Aegean Sea, and we have 5 miles of pure, straight, long beach all to us, and it's okay that we're going to fuck over, the indigenous Albanians and stuff that live there and take their 1,400 hectares. Do you know how much land that is, guys? I think you can get by on a compound with 10 or 20. I'll even give you 50 hectares. Okay. A hectare, I believe, is 2.2 acres, something like that. Okay. So I'll give
Yes.
you 50 hectares, which is over 100 acres. I think you could get by on a compound with 100 acres. You need 1,400 hectares? You need 3,000 acres? Really? Along, oh, by the way,
It's an island.
land along.
Well, I heard it's the new Epstein Island.
Yeah, there you go. So you need all this land along the Aegean Sea, which is an estuary and stuff like that for certain species and all that. They don't give a crap. They want to make that into their own compound, Miami Beach or whatever. I mean, what a friggin' joke. And
Well,
it's got 5 miles of beach so that Jared and I could get it on the beach in private and nobody will see us when he's backdooring me. I mean, what a joke.
well,
What a joke.
newsflash, the Albanians, the Croatians, the
They're
Greeks,
pissed.
the Turks, that part of
They're
the
pissed.
world, you don't mess with those people.
No, you don't. No, once you get into Eastern Europe and etc., they don't screw around. And you nailed it, Dave. The Albanians, the Turks, even the Greeks, and I know something about them. They're nice people. They're social. They like to party and have fun. But you want to know something? You don't mess with them. If you get on their wrong side, you are in a world of hurt. Just ask the German troops during World War II.
Well, not only that, they
Okay.
don't have the police and the military like they have in the U.S. that can control people. I mean, the
Good point.
the mafias, the secret groups in those Eastern European countries, they run the countries.
Right. Right. And Zodi made a good point. I forgot about that piece too. Yeah, they were on. Yes, we were talking about it when we were on the Rothschilds, floating flotilla in Villa, and about the 5 miles of Long Beach where I can make love to Jared on my 1,400 hectares and screw everybody else.
Yeah, there's another promise. There's another promise Trump made that he lied about. He said that Kushner was not going to be
Joke.
involved. Kushner was not going to be involved in any way in this administration.
Yeah,
And
what a joke.
all we hear about is his name.
I see his face. I'd like to fucking knock him out. He's got the type of face you just a straight old fashioned right bang, right to the M jewel, just kaboing.
It's another world, man. Listen, I have interacted with people from that world,
I know you have.
and
They look down on us like cockroaches. I know that.
it is you have to experience it to really believe it. It truly
Yeah.
is like some of these movies.
How
really is.
denigrating it is. Yeah, how they make you feel denigrated and
Well, no,
unworthy.
it's not that. No, they don't. They're not trying to make you feel denigrated. They truly look at you as like,
total inferior.
I mean, you're not even a person to them. You're just there to get something done. That's it.
100%. Yeah, you're just a resource. You're a resource.
So,
My
so
resources.
if they can get the Android to do it, guaranteed they're going to do the Android.
100%. Absolutely. And then that way they don't have to pay benefits to Benny, and he doesn't have to go on vacation with the old lady and the two kitties and
No sick
everything
days.
else. No, 100%. Yeah, no, 100%. No doubt about it.
And you can yell at them and scream at them, kick them, shoot them, and you just get another one. So, okay, what's next on your agenda?
Yeah, so we talked about those two things, the prop there where nobody's putting up a fight for that. We talked about the private equity and the pension funds, which, both items to me are beyond, what's the word? It's outrageous. They're outrageous, and nobody seems to notice. Just like the former work that I was at that I just finished up in the last week or two. I don't want to get into it any more than that, but suffice to say, everything's a constant distraction in the United States. Just talk about stupid sports, talk about pop culture bullshit that doesn't matter. But meanwhile, the real important stuff, they're taking out the back door of the restaurant. They're walking out with filet mignons. But
Are there any
they
World Cup games
they're
in
giving
Florida?
you noodle packs in the meantime.
Are there any World Cup games in Florida, or is Atlanta the closest place? Do you know?
I don't know.
Because that starts next week in the U.S.
Right.
And the only reason I know this is because the guy I subscribe to, Maverick Wall Street, he's been talking about it for like 3 months. And he thought it was going to be this big economic boom for the U.S. And I was like, soccer? And he's from Europe, somewhere in Europe, I think.
Yeah. So to him, soccer's a big deal, but to the
No,
U.S.,
he invited family members to the U.S. They refused to go to the United States. They're too afraid. They're too afraid to enter the U.S. They don't trust they think that they'll show up and they'll get arrested for something and not be able to leave. So they're not coming.
boy, that sounds. I mean, what are we, Nazi Germany? They're worried about this.
Well, actually, for people outside the U.S. government makes it very difficult to come to this country unless you're illegal.
Yeah, but can't they? But just on a vacation for a week or two, they can't enter easy.
No,
Will they
you
need
have
a
to
visa depending on where they're coming from?
I don't know the details anymore. I
I don't either.
It used
Yeah.
to require, I remember, the only thing I remember, I was in Colombia and I'm with these two Germans. They're about 30 years old and they were going to the United States. They were telling me they were going to the US and they told me they had to spend like 500 euros to get these biometric passports that the US required them to get into the US, not just normal passports. And this girl, she was walking down the street and I warned these people. I literally warned them an hour before this happened because I saw them. And I told her, I said, never walk with your bag on your shoulder on the side of the street. Well, did she listen to me? No. So her and her
Of course not.
boyfriend, they're lost in love, arm
They
in
got
arm.
jacked.
They're in Cartagena. They're in love. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And she's walking down the
Amor
street.
in
She had a-
Cartagena.
And the guy comes right along on a motorcycle, whoosh, and off she goes.
Nos amamos.
Yep. So,
Estamos en amor.
and she was devastated. So they couldn't go to the U.S. because they lost their passports. And I told them what I would have done, but again, they didn't listen to me. Because I probably would have gotten it back. I would have gotten my passport back. Because in Cartagena, it's run by certain people. You go to those people, say, hey, I'll pay this amount. They can keep my bag, keep whatever. I just need my passport. You would have gotten those back if you contacted the right people. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, you'd have to know who to contact, though. I mean, some guy on a motorcycle coming by, who the hell do you
Well,
contact?
you contact the cops, dude.
No, I don't have a real ID. No.
Yeah. So I'll use my passport if I need to fly, not a real ID. Yeah.
I guess that's what
New,
I'll do.
New
too.
Hampshire, and I talk about this in the book as well. New Hampshire resisted the federal government, said we're not doing real IDs. Well, guess what? They're doing real IDs now if you want it. Because what happened was the federal government said, okay, then we'll just take your funding away. And I did research on this, and supposedly, the Supreme Court made that illegal for the United States government to use that coercion against states. And I'm like, and I rebutted AI on that. I said, I said, you stupid AI computer. I said, because this AI insisted that the federal government couldn't do it. I said, you stupid machine. Of course it's being done.
It's done all the time. Yeah. I mean, what's New Hampshire going to do? Yeah, they're going to say, yeah, screw you. Okay, great. And they pull the funding. Now what?
Well, look at your state, whatever state you're in, look at your state. I can almost guarantee you that a significant percentage of the funding your state receives isn't from your taxes, isn't from whatever taxes are collected, it's from the federal government.
Which in turn prints it up.
Yeah, but who cares? The states, so that allows the states to do whatever boondoggles they're doing. Because if it wasn't for the federal government, guess what? They'd have to go to the taxpayer and say, we're going to tax you for this.
Right. And the taxpayer would in most cases go apeshit and revolt, and they know that.
No, they wouldn't.
Sure they would. I mean, you can only tax the people so much before you tap them out.
Dan, that was the whole point of what Jimmy Dore was saying. They revolted against King George over 1% tax.
Right. And we're okay paying
1%
30, 40,
tax.
50. Yeah.
People who are paying taxes are paying half their income. Like they have to work till like Memorial Day just
It's
to
going to work
pay
till
taxes.
May. The average American's going to work till around May now.
Memorial Day.
Yeah.
It's almost half the year.
To pay their taxes. Most Americans, to your point, Dave, do not understand at all or conscious of the fact that taxes are your biggest expense,
Well,
your
actually,
biggest line item expense of your household.
we can search online, but I remember hearing that 70% of
W-2.
people in the U.S. don't pay taxes.
70% of who? People?
70% of Americans don't pay taxes.
You're kidding me.
Trump doesn't pay taxes.
Well, because he has write-offs that he
Call it what
utilizes.
you will, Dan. Call it what you will. It's still not the government getting taxes.
Agreed, but I can't believe it's 70% that high because
Well,
the
let me do
majority of Americans are not self-employed.
me do
If you're self-employed or have your own business, even if it's a sole proprietorship, LLC, partnership, whatever, you're going to have certain benefits. You know this, Dave,
Well, if
and
they have
write-offs.
five
What you're
kids.
not going to have is a W-2 dinker, right? Do I believe it's probably higher than whatever that I would guess? Yeah. 70% though, dude, that seems extraordinarily high.
All right, maybe.
I'm not saying you're wrong, by the way.
Just real quick, AI says 40% do not pay.
Yeah, I didn't think it was 70. I figured maybe 20, 30%,
Yeah.
which is still sort of high if you think about it. 40% is high. If you think about it, that's almost 1 out of 2. But granted, you've got 330 million people. I don't know, of the 330 million people, who constitutes, a workable workforce between the ages of, say, 20 and 55. I think only about 100 million or so, plus or minus 130 million, something like that.
Well, it's one of the issues with the Social Security you're talking about, because as you have less younger people,
That's an issue, and if and that's how Social Security. Some call it a Ponzi scheme, but the bottom line is, when they did initiate it, you had, let's say, for every one person retiring and collecting, you had like maybe 1.5 or 1.8, or call it
it used to be. I researched
working,
this on the book. It was
contributing.
like 5 or 7 when they first initiated it, paying
one?
in for one. It was a very high number.
There you go. What's
And
it now? It's probably less than half of that.
Oh, no. I think it's down to like what you said, 1.5 for one.
You're kidding me? Is it that? It's that low?
You can look on the line. It's not good.
Oh wow,
Plus,
that's scary.
Plus, here's the other kicker: is the people who are collecting today paid in a fraction over their lifetime for what they're getting out a lot more than what they paid in.
Really?
Think about it. I mean, what's Social Security paying? Like $3,000 for some people, 3, 4, 5 grand.
The average Social Security check is just under $2,000. The
2K?
average, not the mean, but the average. So, and the way Social Security works is
And
the
they
way
weren't
they
paying,
arrive at
and they
that
weren't
figure
paying
is
in $2,000 a month.
they, so your Social Security check is based on your best 35 years, whatever your numbers were for your best 35 years. So that's how many 35 years is times 12 months. So shit. Yeah, 420 months. So what they do is they add up your lifetime earnings, right, Dave? And your best 35 years. Let's say you made, I'm just throwing numbers around. Joe Blow made 2.5 million, let's say, over 35 years, which is 420 months. They're going to take the 2.5 million and divide it by 420, and that's my understanding. But that comes out to 5,900. That can't be right, because the highest right now is around 4,500 to 5,000 a month you can collect. But that's essentially how they do it.
What,
But we don't need to get into. I didn't mean to get into those
well,
weeds.
what I'm saying
But
is people who worked in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, I don't even know, I mean, I don't even know what Social Security was invested in to grow. I don't think it was invested in anything.
what's it backed by? That's a great question. I'd have to look that up. Is it
Tre-
T-bills
tre-
or something?
Treasury bonds?
Treasury notes? Yeah.
So how's that? I mean, that's basically, you're lucky if you're breaking inflation.
Well, the cost of living adjustments that they give you once a year are usually between, like, I think 2 and 3%, right?
My point
Which is what they're
is
probably
Dan,
earning.
if you worked in the 80s, 90s, and 2000, you're collecting today, you're collecting $2, $3, $4, $5,000 a month, whatever the number it is, it's 10 times higher than what you were paying in.
No, if it's 10 times higher, I don't know.
Dan,
What's the Social Security takeout? Is it 5%, 7%? I don't know.
7%,
Okay.
7.5, 7.6.
Off the gross, whatever your gross pay is.
Yeah. And your employer matches it.
Okay. So so that's 15% at that point. Yeah. But that adds up over time.
Dan, get your head out of your ass. So you're making 100 grand 20 years ago. What's 15% of 100 grand?
15,000.
Divide that by 12. It's like
Okay.
$1,200.
Yeah.
So that guy's
Yeah.
now bringing in 4 grand, 5 grand.
Uh, no, not necessarily. The average Social Security check, like I said, is about 2 grand a month.
It's like talking to the table. It's like,
Most people don't make even 100 grand.
I just referenced a person who was making 100 grand. If somebody
Yeah.
was making 100 grand back in 1980 and 90, there's no way that they're not pulling in the higher end of the Social Security.
Well, yeah. No, I agree with you there. That's a good point. Yeah, if you were making 100 G's in the 90s, like let's say the early 90s,
Let's change the topic. Let's
Yeah.
change the topic.
yeah, we don't need to get into that. No, you're right. Yeah,
Because you know
no, I
what?
hear you.
I can tell you, I've already decided I don't expect to get a dime from Social Security. I really don't.
Well, I do because we put a lot of money in over the years. I'd like to get something. Sorry, I'll speak for myself, but I hear you. I hear you.
You don't listen to what I say. I didn't say that I didn't want it. I said I
Right.
don't
You
expect
don't
to get it
expect it. I know. I heard what you said. You don't
because
expect.
by the time we're old enough to get it, I think we might have I mean, with how fast the United States is falling, another 10 years of this, Dan, I'm not sure the U.S. isn't going to crack.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not even
I
sure it's
can't.
going to make it through the Trump's term.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it'll get through Trump's term, but to your point, in 10 years, God knows. Imagine 20 years from now. Can't even imagine. Can't
Okay,
even imagine.
next topic, Dan.
Yeah, well, we basically, covered everything. That brings us to the Q&A, really.
All right, why don't you scroll through Zodi's? I think Zodi's the only one who's commenting today.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Zodi,
makes
you should just click the link and join us, Zodi, instead of because I mean we're
he's made
getting
a lot of good comments tonight.
yeah. Well, I think Zodi told me. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zodi, but I think you remember when we talked that one time. You told me that you have this giant screen monitor that you watch your YouTube on in your living room. So you're probably sitting there with a nice drink and some snacks, watching Dan and I on a big screen. Boy,
two extraordinarily handsome guys from Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah, we got similar haircuts.
Exactly. Hey, if you're going to talk about yourself, you might as well inflate yourself with delusions of grandeur, I always say.
I had somebody ask me one time on a comment, "Are you guys twins?"
No, we've just known each other for about 38 years.
We look like twins. What do you? I mean, who needs glasses?
Exactly. I'm the better looking one, though, of course.
Oh. Yeah.
But seriously, no, he's made a lot of good comments tonight. Interesting comments.
Well, why don't you pick some out then and answer them?
Dan, do you have any firearms? Why? Wow. Why are you asking me that? What do you think? What would be your guess? I'm curious. Yay or nay?
I'm not going to answer because I think I know the answer.
You do, Dave. You know the answer.
Do you count water guns?
Exactly.
Stay off my lawn.
The only, I shouldn't admit this in public, whatever. Yeah. Oh, he said yes. Well, I do actually. It's a .177 caliber.
Yeah, actually, what is it, a pellet gun?
Yeah, it's a BB gun.
Yeah, no. I had a pellet gun that was a .177, and you do not want to get a shot with that thing in the head.
No, it would hurt.
That will put a man down.
And you could kill squirrels with it and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I used to kill them every day. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to take the girls when they were small, shooting the BB guns at 30 yards, 40 yards. I actually got them both.
I used to be a good shot, but it's like anything. And let's go back into the ignorance.
I know you were a good shot. I remember you picking the squirrels off.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything. The more you train, the better you get. And
practice makes perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
And so what do you? Let's just end on this note, Dan. Let's try to finish this in the next 10, 12 minutes. What do you think about the comment I made about ignorance and I mean, because I think we are responsible for most of our own pain in this world, and it comes to the fact that we choose not to explore things, and we go off down paths that we think we understand when we really don't, and we get burned.
I mean, look, what can I say to that other than I think there's a lot of truth to that, but by the same token, we live in a society and a system, at least the last 120 years before we were born, that's been orchestrated and designed and built out. Where am I going with this? Henry Ford.
You mean about losing basic skills, basic life skills?
Well, this entire lifestyle that we have in the U.S., guys, the last 100+ years has been totally orchestrated, engineered, and architected, namely by Henry Ford. Okay? Henry Ford did an in-depth study for his factory at the beginning of the century, roughly, plus or minus, of what was the most optimal hours per day for a worker to work? Is it 12 hours, 14 hours, 6 hours, 9 hours? What is it? Well, the studies, to put it in layman terms, determined an 8-hour day was the optimal before, marginal
Yeah, I
utility
thought it was
versus
I thought it
marginal
was 10,
revenue.
but they went to 8-hour shifts
Yeah. So
because
he
of 24
determined
hours.
eight hours. And so what this did is it pumped out of the worker as much as it could before the deficiencies for the day set in. But at the same time, what it did is it struck another balance, which was, and they had this in their mind when they designed the system, Dave. I want to stress this. It's like, how do I keep Dave and Dan so busy, right? But not too busy where they crash and it's inefficient, creating inefficiencies for me and my business, right? That's the one balance of the seesaw. But the other balance of the seesaw is, which is diabolical, work these guys to the nth degree to where they're too tired to do anything else at the end of the day and the end of the week. They're too tired to enact that idea on their own or start their own business. You know what I mean? And be independent. Because if enough of us did that, Dave, then the likes of the Henry Fords of the world, the Standard Oil guys of the world, JP Morgans of the world wouldn't have a worker base. Because, guys, you got to remember, it was the mid to late 1800s where they started through the Industrial Revolution, sucking, if you will, everybody off the farms, right? And building this facade of come to the city, life will be better. Come work for me, work in the factory. You know what I mean? Paradise, the utopia is here. When in fact, no, the elite were crafty. They knew they needed workers. That's all it was. And they knew that they had the worker base and the worker pool on the farms, but they had to somehow figure out and strike a medium to get these people, into the factories. And they did it. But while doing it, that's what Henry Ford and the likes of him did, right? Keep you busy just enough to extract as maximum productivity and revenue out of you on a daily basis, but also get you tired enough where you're not thinking about anything else. You only have 168 hours in the week. And the average person, after they work a 40-hour week, have to take care of the family, have to do basic stuff, errands for their own house, blah, blah, blah. That's about 120 hours, right? If you do the math. So out of 168 hours, they walked through all this math and figured out Dave and Dan only have about 48 hours left, but they're so
So
friggin'
what
tired.
does this have to do with ignorance, Dan?
It's got everything to do with ignorance. This is, I argue, if not fully, a good portion as to why we're still ignorant today, because this system has been built and ingrained in all of us, right? And even the ones that understand it, like us, which it's been ingrained in us, have trouble breaking out of it. Never mind the person that's not coherent about it. You understand?
Well,
That's my point.
Ford and Rockefeller, they basically dismantled all the public transit systems around the country to promote the use of gasoline and automobiles.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting enough? Not only did he determine, along with his cohorts, the optimal workday, but they also, JP Morgans of the world and stuff like that, as well as Ford and stuff, they designed the healthcare system that we know and love today. And they also, to your point, Dave, you touched on it indirectly, designed and orchestrated the education system.
And
The
the healthcare
education system.
and the healthcare system. They basically created the medical school training.
Right. They played a huge part in that. And it was all for the emphasis of getting workers so that they would have a continuous pool of workers so that they could extract the maximum value out of them. And in doing that, they constructed a healthcare system that would help facilitate that. No more, no less. And the same thing with the education system. The K through 12 system is classic mirroring of the Industrial Revolution. The kid goes to school, shows up at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning like a worker. They're there, regimented. Each class, the bell rings. They march down the hallway to get to the next class so that by the time they're 18, that system's been indoctrinated into them for 12 years already. Now they matriculate into the workforce as a numb worker, supporting the elite. But that system's starting to be dismantled, and they know it. And that's why they're pushing AI harder than ever, I purport, because they know people are waking up. What they did not take into account 10 or 15 years ago, and I've said this before, Dave, is what social media would do, right? Well, social media has been a tool that has enabled people to not only communicate bi-directionally anytime they want, anywhere they want, with voice, video, and data, but it's enabled people to exchange ideas and stuff, right? And learn from each other.
Yeah, well, that's why China's been the testing ground, and that's why they're rushing to get these digital prisons set up, dude.
I purport and argue that they know people as a whole are waking up, but the problem is,
I don't even know why you would say that. People are not waking up.
I think no, there is a segment. There are. If you watch enough YouTube videos these days, there are a sufficient amount of people waking up. Now, will it be enough in the right amount of time? That's debatable. If they roll out AI the way you're purporting, Dave, right, which is to corral us electronically in every way else possible, if they get that out faster than enough of the populace realizes what's going on, then it's game over. And
I think it's more likely that I talk about this in the book, regressive propaganda, where what they'll do is they will now flip it and they will use it as their weapon.
Yeah, 100%. But they realize that over the last 120 years, they've gotten all the mileage pretty much they could get out of human beings, right? And the average worker. And now that and then you couple that with the advent of where technology is at this point and where it's going to continue to go, they realize they can jump off that horse now and start riding the technology horse harder and harder. They're not quite there yet, I agree with you, particularly with AI. But they want to get there. If they could snap their finger today and get there in a snap and have AI totally replace human beings completely with everything and anything, they would do it, in my opinion. 100%.
Well, we're going to know in 100 years. We're going to know in 100 years, Dan, or less.
It's going to be way less than 100 years.
A lot. Well, you'd have no idea what I was going to say.
Go ahead. Yep. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah. No, I don't.
The birth rate, in my opinion, and I had a conversation with Gonzalo Lira about this, and he basically ran with this ball as well. He firmly believes that the COVID stuff wasn't to kill off old people. He believes that it was to basically reduce the birth rate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
and birth rates are not even at rates where they can replenish populations. That's why the U.S. is bringing in all these immigrants.
1,000%, bro. If you look at all the Western nations like Canada, U.S., and particularly Western Europe, they're not having enough children to replace themselves. They need something like 2.1 or 2.2, the last I knew, children per family, and they're doing like 1.7, right? I mean, how many people these days, a man and a woman, are even not just replacing themselves, but having, say, 3 children, right? So now you got 3 human beings replacing the parents, right? Or 4 or 5. If you're talking white people, that's definitely the case. Now, if you're talking Middle Eastern people and you're talking Latin people, they're still having 4 kids, 6 kids, 7 kids.
Yeah, it says, I just did a quick search. It says for native-born U.S. women, it's 1.73 children per woman compared to 2.19 for immigrant. but that doesn't say by race. It just says domestic.
Yeah, but basically, most American women, that were born here, and that includes, I would argue easily all the whites, all the white women, because a lot of the white women have bought into this bullshit the last 40, 50 years, the Gloria Steinem bullshit, and I can bring home the bacon and cook it too, and I don't need a man.
Well,
And that's
let me
starting to
ask you a question.
come
In your
home to roost.
immediate, yeah, well, in as far as your ex-wife and your family, if you're talking the next group, how many like nephews and nieces are there in that group over how many families? See, in my family, there's 8 nieces and nephews over, so it's not even replacement value.
And I just said that a minute ago. I would bet that, especially with the white race, with white people. Yeah.
And the young people today, I like a lot of my nieces and nephews, they're pushing 25, 30 now.
Oh, easily.
And
Easily.
none of them are married.
And it's not even on their mind to have a family, probably. Not even on their mind.
Well, a lot of them, like when I was like 20, 21, I mean, I was already kicking it. You know what I mean? I was out there in full-time career mode at that point. Whereas kids today, they're 25 and they're not doing anything, a lot of them.
28 years old, 31 years old. They're playing
And they're
Xbox.
living at home, a lot of them.
Literally. They're living at home playing effing Xbox in their mother's basement. Literally. We've got a nation of, we don't raise men anymore. I'm not saying, I'll speak for myself. I won't say you, Dave, but I'm not saying I'm the biggest manly man there is, although I do have a lot of hair on my Italian chest. But anyway, my point is we don't even raise men anymore, right? For the most part. I mean, I see grown men, 32 years old, 41 years old, they're wearing a sports shirt of another man's name on their back. I mean, what does that tell you?
Yeah, that is something that I have never done as an adult.
No, nor would I.
And I think I wore Ted Williams number 9 when I was in Little League baseball.
Okay, so I'll give you a break there. So if I see a 10-year-old doing it or even 12, I'll give the kid a break.
But I mean, I was playing baseball, Dan. I was playing baseball.
Yeah. Right. If he's, playing football, Pop Warner or whatever, he's a kid. I'll give him a break. But once he, if he's 15, 17, 22, 34, it's like, come on, man. But that's our society. We don't raise men anymore.
If you're up in the Boston area, that's all you'll see is people walking around with Bruins, Celtics, Patriots jerseys.
100%. Yeah.
Like not even shirts. They're wearing like sports jerseys.
It's a joke. Yeah. Well, the official ones, by the way, that they'll pay $300 for in the official pro team sports shop at the stadium.
Gronk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, what's a Patriots jersey go for at Gillette Stadium?
Probably 300.
It's got to be $300-400.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Even if I could afford it,
considering a ticket to the game has got to be $150.
Oh, and that's a cheap ass ticket. Yeah, that's a bozo ticket. I mean, to get a good seat these days, you probably got to drop $350. I'm assuming $250, $350 easy.
Do you bring your 4 kids to the? If you have 4 kids, do you bring 4 kids to Fenway Park today?
You do if you want to drop $1,000 for the day, including parking, hot dogs, and whatever.
Well, I'm not sure it's 1,000, but I'll bet it's over 500.
Oh Jesus! So let's take the middle number range. It's $750 for the day.
You think so?
Yeah.
To the Red Sox?
Absolutely.
The Patriots, no doubt about it, because the Patriots tickets are 10 times higher.
And again, bro, I have no idea. I haven't followed sports for 20 years. How much? Maybe if you go to the bleachers, if you sit in the bleachers, how much you think it's going to cost to park at Fenway Park these days? Back in the day when we were going, it was 50
Listen,
bucks to park.
listen.
25 years ago.
When I was last year or 2 years ago, when I was in Boston, I was walked right by Fenway Park, and right next to the beer place is where the parking is, and they were charging $90.
I was going to say
$90 to park for
I
a
was going
Red
to say
Sox.
$100. $100 to park.
Oh my
Easily.
God. Average ticket for a Red Sox game, what do you think it is? 90 to it says 90 to 112 per ticket. That's how
Okay,
long it's
so
on. I think I used to pay like $10, $12.
so divided by 2, so it's $100, 101 per ticket times 4 kids is $404 right there. Plus the 2 parents or 1 parent. So let's say pot. Well,
Let's talk traditional family.
Okay, so then that's another $202. So now you're up to 606. Dude, Dave, you're at 606 just for the tickets. Plus $100 to park. You're at 706. You haven't bought a hot dog yet for the
What
kids.
do you think a hot dog is? $10?
Yeah. So you're going to spend another $100 on food, easy. So now you're at $800. So I was right. You're at $800 to $900 for the day.
Okay, the
That's
price
with
of a hot dog. The price of a hot dog in Fenway. Wow, it's actually sounds quite reasonable compared to that. $6.25.
That's not bad. I would have
But
guessed
the jumbo
$10.
dogs are $10. So
There you
that
go.
means the little wieners are like this big, and the jumbo is a normal.
So if a guy gets a beer, what, a 16-ounce beer, what's that go for? $12?
Well, I remember at Fenway at Patriots last time I went to the Patriots with John, there were $15 for a Dixie cup.
Yeah, there you go.
16-ounce beer is $11 at Fenway.
I said 12. Just guessing. $11 for an effing beer.
And when you go to these games, I don't know about now, but last time I was at a Patriots games was in the 90s, and like people would have 5, 6, 7 beers at a game.
Oh, easily. Guys would drink 10 or 15 back in the day, easy.
And they were
while throwing the football around.
And they weren't cheap back then either.
No, but it wasn't anything like it is now.
I think it was $5.
Well,
so you have
I don't know what
$50 on beer.
So what is the point of all these? Why did we get here? How did we get here? I don't even know what the point is.
We went off on a tangent. We started talking about ignorance, and we ended up on the Red Sox and the Patriots because you were talking about men wearing shirts with people's names.
Right, and we were talking about. I went back to Henry Ford, gave the dissertation of how we've been conditioned the past 100+ years, and that this is precisely why we're having the issues we're having. We've been conditioned. You've had a small, how do I describe it? Elite Henry Fords, like I said, basically design everything we know, Dave. The workforce, the healthcare system, the school system, all designed by them for them.
Yeah,
in a nutshell.
People assumed it was for altruistic reasons.
And we all bought into it. And we all blindly bought into it. And we still buy into it.
They built those beautiful libraries for us. The beautiful museums for us.
Right. And then, with breadcrumbs they threw at it just to keep the bread and circus people at bay. But look at what Trump is doing now, which is a complete disgrace in my opinion. He's going to have for the 250th anniversary for the country, he's going to have the UFC fights on the front lawn. I mean, what a joke. You're going to have UFC fights at the White House, really? I mean, what does that make us look like? I mean, what the fuck? Is this the fall of the Roman Empire?
It's officially bread and circuses.
That's exactly where I'm going, bro. If I'm looking from the outside in perspective, if I'm Nicaragua or Albania or Madagascar, and I'm looking in on the US and I'm watching this, I'm like, these are the world leaders. They're having gladiator fights on the front lawn. What is this? And I'm supposed to follow these guys? Really?
But you know what? I'll bet you most of the people in those countries would gladly come to the U.S.
Still, yes, yes, I agree with you because there's still enough here for the free for all to come and get some. Yeah, especially with the way we give it away, right?
Well, if you can get a job for $15 an hour, or
Compared to where they're coming from.
you can work in Mexico for $5 a day.
Yeah, I mean,
$10,
half the
well,
world.
not five, $10 a day.
Look, to your point, what is it? Still half the world has a subsistence of, they live on what? I'll throw
1,000
inflation in
calories.
there. It used to be $2 a day. Now I'll call it $3 a day with inflation. Right? About half the planet eating a bowl of rice, right? So to your point, yeah, if they come over here and work at Mickey D's for $17 an hour, they just struck gold. Even if
Yeah.
even if
I,
12 of them have
I
to
meet people in
live in an
Mexico all the
800
time.
square foot apartment,
I
right?
meet people in Mexico all the time, and they tell me their stories about how they went to the U.S. to make money. And it's not because they love the United States.
No, no. I mean, there was a time, the Ellis Island days, I would say 60, 70 years ago when our relatives came, or 80, 90 years ago, when they were coming through Ellis Island, the bulk of them, I would argue, wanted to come here. They wanted to, I can speak for my own family, Italian immigrants and stuff that came from Italy. They wanted to come here. They wanted to be here. They wanted to um, matriculate. They wanted to learn the language. They wanted to learn the culture. They were Americans. They joined the freaking army and the Marines and the Navy during World War II. My uncles and stuff, they were all throughout the South Pacific. My father was U.S. Army,
Well,
Korean
I
War.
can
Your dad
tell
was
you
a veteran.
why.
Your
No,
dad was a veteran.
No, I can tell you why. I researched this for the book. And I told you this, so let's see if you remember. What do you think is the median age of countries? You said there's 195 countries in the world, right?
195, 200, something
What's
like
the
that.
median age?
Of whom?
The countries, the 195 countries. How long have they existed?
Oh, yeah, it was a lot shorter than I thought. Something like
Well, what would you
25
guess?
years or something. 25 years, something like that.
It's 32 years.
Yeah, it was short.
So that's why, think about this. When people would leave their homes 100 years ago, what were they leaving? They were leaving empires, or, you know, they were going to opportunity.
Agreed.
Today, most of these countries are a result of the Soviet Union falling, but still, the United States right now is the fourth oldest government in the world right now.
That's a good point.
We're turning 250 years old in July, and we're the fourth oldest. 250 is not that old, so that tells you a lot about the last 250 years, about how it's been turmoil. It's turmoil.
Up and down, up and down. Things
People
come up.
kill each other, taking one over the other. So when the average age, the median age is 32 years, don't think, and we're 250, don't think that we can't come undone.
Excellent point. I think that's a great point. I think it's an excellent point. Yeah, no, I agree with you. You and I understand this. So we're on the same page. We agree. And I suspect Zodi probably does. But I would argue a lot of Americans don't understand this, nor would they accept what you just said.
Well, their attitude is, who cares? It doesn't impact my life.
Well, it will impact their life if it unwinds.
It's
Yeah.
it's the same attitude as people who are singing and dancing on the Titanic, Dan.
Yeah.
They didn't care until they had to care.
I agree. No, no, a lot of us are just ignorant and blind, just forcibly ignorant and blind. And again, a lot of it has to do with how the system was built 100 plus years ago. And, you know, and
And
unless you,
at this point, what's the point of waking up? If you're on the Titanic, you know, it's like the analogy I used before we went live is what's the point of waking up and realizing you're in a slaughter yard? What's it buy you?
so Zodi says real quick before we close out, but it's centuries when you talk. Who's controlling the countries? I can tell you this: the governments are not controlling the
Well,
countries.
back then it was kingdoms and it was empires.
100%. But he's asking even now, and it's always been this way, Zodi.
The
The
bankers.
governments, the governments and the politicians are not controlling the countries. They never have. They're nothing but actors and puppets. There's a few people behind the scenes that run the show and call the shots.
Yeah.
And we're all
Well,
marching to their drumbeat.
John Astor was on the Titanic. The Titanic sank in 1912. And John Astor, guess what? He was adamantly opposed to the Federal Reserve. He just happened to die.
He just happened to be on the boat that went down.
Yeah. And guess who else was supposed to be on the boat with him and backed out like the day before?
The
Take a
guy
wild
that,
guess. Huh?
yeah, yeah, the person, the complete opposite person, right?
No, well, you know this name, J.P. Morgan.
Yeah,
And J.P.
there you go.
Morgan and his son-in-law, Paul Warfel, they're the ones who created the Federal Reserve.
Yeah. They
So-
just happened to cancel the day before. Somebody got an ingrown toenail, I think.
So when people get murdered, when people get taken out, when people get put in prison for no reason to get taken out of the way, this isn't anything new.
No, since the beginning of
I
time.
mean,
Go back.
Sun
Go back.
Tzu. I wrote a lot about Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu has a whole book on this.
Go back to Cain and Abel. I'll go further. Go back to Cain and Abel. Go
Yeah.
back to Joseph in the Bible.
There you go. The Bible's a great reference.
Yeah. Yeah. Since the beginning of time.
All right, Dan,
And
how
the
do you
way
want to
human-
take us out? How do you want to take us out? Oil's up, gold, silver getting whacked again. Bitcoin's getting a slight bounce, and I'll look at Asia real quick.
Okay. Yeah, Bitcoin's up a little bit.
Well, Bitcoin had an RSI of 10, Dan. It was going to bounce.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Good
mean
point.
that it's not a dead cat bounce, though.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, wow. Korea's down 4.4% tonight.
Oh, wow.
And Japan's down 4%. So maybe we get a black Monday, Dan. What do you think? Or last time, did I lose you? Did I lose you? Well, I
Wow.
don't know.
3% is the Korean market. 3.83 is the Japanese market.
Well,
The
last
other
time
markets are all
last
around
time
1%
Asia was down like this, the U.S. actually had a huge green day.
Well, and that
am I
can make
talking to
sense
myself?
because this past Friday, this past Friday the markets were rough, right? They were down 3-4%, right?
Well, it was, But it was OpEx, Dan. It was OpEx. Those are the games they play. Listen, I'll just say this. Anybody who has any substantial size of any position in the market, you have to hedge it. Or you're rolling the dice. And if you don't know what that means, you should be closing your positions and thanking God that you had the run up if you had a run up. Because paper gains are not real gains, folks.
Not until you take it off the table.
And there's nothing wrong. This is something else people don't think about. They think, oh, I got to sell it. No, you can sell in increments. You don't have to sell everything. You can take off 25%. You can take off 50% and let you ever hear of the when you double, you take off, 50%, let the rest ride?
Yeah. And now you're playing with house money. Yeah.
You do not want to be cute in these markets. These markets are so brutal right now as far as you don't know which way it's going to go. And so if you're hedged, like I have a position in First Majestic Silver, I hedged it. Basically, I sold a covered call because in my mind, I'm like, there's no way this is going up anytime soon. So I sold a covered call and I bought a put. So I'm hedged to the downside on that. And I'm already up like, I don't know how much percent on that because silver, the miners got crushed on Friday. Crushed.
I know.
And now, in my opinion, now is not the time to jump in. And when there's a deflationary moment, when there's a liquidity moment, everything sells. Everything sells because the big boys start getting margin calls and they have to come up with cash. And when you have to come up with cash to cover your losers, what do?
You sell stuff.
You sell your winners. Because that's
now everybody's running to the door, right?
Well, the big boys are distributing right now, and I wrote about this in the book. What they do is they paint the tape. They'll buy a sacrificial amount of sales, so they'll buy a few thousand shares, and they're selling 50,000 shares out the back into your retirement plan.
So it's a deception move.
Listen, I've been saying it for years. They pump it so they can dump it, and they dump it so they can pump it.
Right.
And they have no problem selling. The pros have no problem selling. They don't sit there and say, "Oh, but it might go another 5%," or here's the other one. But it went down 10% on Friday, Dan. I can't sell now. I'm only up 90%.
Exactly.
I have to wait for it to get that 10% back. What?
They don't try to nail the highs and the lows perfectly.
The pros, they don't even. The pros know it's a pipe dream. You get
they know it's a losing proposition.
It's a lucky break if you hit the highs of the lows.
Yeah, I mean, once in a while in your career you may hit it, but not often. Very rarely. Probably
but
under
these guys,
10
these
or
guys
under 5%.
bought into these AI stocks. They've ridden it up the last 3-6 months. They're selling because they're up. Yeah. They're up like 300%, 200%.
It's called an unrealized gain until you take it off the table. Then it's called a realized gain, to put it in accounting terms.
Yeah, and the guys who run the markets, they drive the markets because they'll take those gains, and now they're going to move it. The next big thing that's going to move right now is healthcare. This is the seasonality. So they're buying. If you look at the stocks on healthcare, they've been selling their tech and buying healthcare and other things. There are other tickers that have been buying as well. The other thing that they're probably going to start buying energy soon. Like look at the ticker for COAL, coal. Look at what that thing's been doing.
Mm-hmm.
They have not been buying Bitcoin. I can tell you that.
Yep, agreed.
So that's it. Good night, Brian. Thanks for joining us. We're going to sign off here as well. Dan, you want to take us out?
Yeah, no,
And as always, get right with the Lord.
that's the best takeout you could have. So I'll second that notion. As far as what will happen in the markets this week,
I have no idea.
I think that probably the first. I think there'll be some up days just because they'll orchestrate it that way. But to your point, we have to wait and see. It could go anyway. I mean, the bull market as a whole is still kind of going, but sooner or later,
Well, we haven't
if you look
mentioned
at the
it.
charts, guys,
There's a new Federal Reserve chief in charge,
right?
and the Fed is
That's
already
huge.
sending out their minions talking about rate hikes, not rate cuts.
That's
And
right.
that's why you saw the IWM sell off on Friday, because a lot of these stocks need cheap money. Look at Google. Google went with a stock. Google did their $80 billion stock infusion, because they didn't want to come after SpaceX. They're like, if we're going to do this, we need to do it now. And you notice they didn't go with debt. They went with equity. They're diluting their shareholders. All right.
Good point. All right. Another good week.
Well, we'll see. Today's only Sunday.
No, what I meant is another good broadcast. I think we packed it in with a bunch of good information for what that's worth. Some interesting talk as well.
Yeah, well, the reality is, I really have to stress this. I mean, the opening of my book is Ecclesiastes 1. Read Ecclesiastes 1. That, Ecclesiastes, Dan, King Solomon.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very powerful chapter. Very powerful chapter. Basically, in a nutshell, I won't give it all away. He basically says he spent his entire life learning. And he comes up with the summary. And the bottom line is we're here today. So, and there's a lot of people who aren't here today. And so don't take that for granted. Make the most of today.
Because tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Well, we choose, and I'm guilty of this, and this is part of the ignorance that I've had to learn through, is we make decisions with our time and our choices that we wouldn't make if we were told we have a month or 6 months.
Ooh.
So
What can I say to that? Yikes.
yeah, it's pouring here right now. Is it rainy season there yet in Florida?
It's supposed to be starting right now, June, but it hasn't really hit yet. And it was pretty dry last year as well.
Yeah, when I visited you in July, it didn't have a lot of rain there. Some, but not much.
No, it was pretty dry, to your point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, dude. Good talking to you as always. Brian, thanks for joining us. Anybody watching the future show, Thank you for joining us, and leave your comments, questions, and give Dan 2 thumbs up, big thumbs up.
Absolutely. We've got more Wheaties and Doritos to buy, guys.
Yeah.
We got,
And
we got to keep that. Got to feed the addiction.
Yeah. And check out my books on Amazon. I've got Agua Sangre, and now I have Trojan Dragons. And actually, I have the 3rd book pretty much already written. I just have to, outlined. I just have to finish it. And this is a pretty good book too. But right now, I have no desire to write anything right now. I am completely fried from that experience.
Absolutely.
So barring in a couple weeks after my my visit there, I'll get the news as to whether I'm free to travel or not. And we'll see if I'm free to travel. I'll tell you that renting a van and putting some books in the back and driving around and selling them at churches, that sounds like an exciting idea to me.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, and if you have time, Dan, you can join me.
And it's for a good cause.
Yeah. Well, the profits will go to the church.
That's what I'm saying. I can't say it's a bad cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. All kidding aside, I mean.
Well, no, I mean, and we'll definitely make this the last comment, but what I was thinking, Dan, is it gives a chance to connect to other fellow Catholics who believe in Jesus Christ, and it's also an excuse to drive around and explore the U.S., which I love to do.
Nothing wrong with that, dude. All right.
Peace.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Dave,
Take
we'll
care.
talk again, buddy. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.